I want to take a second here in Mark Review's thoughts to share with you something that I've given a lot of thought recently. It's something that you've heard about for your entire life, ever since elementary school. Freedom. We talk about freedom a lot, especially here in the United States, and we equate freedom with peace, happiness, prosperity, etc. And rightly so, because they're very interrelated. Specifically, I kind of feel like the purpose of this life, the purpose of living and working and relating with others around us is to figure out how to incorporate more freedom into our lives. Now, let me explain. People deal with and suffer with debilitating addictions, and an addiction takes away your freedom. It causes pain and suffering and sorrow for you and those around you. Addictions remove your freedom. And freedom, personal freedom, fills you with a sense of relief, a sense of liberation. And a lot of these are kind of synonymous terms for a reason. If you feel free, then you have the right to self-determination. We talk about rights. We talk about the right to bear arms, or the right to assemble, or a woman's right to choose. And all of these things are really extending a bit of freedom to you or to a specific group. Now, you are welcome to as much personal freedom as you want, up until the point where it starts to infringe on my freedom and my rights. There's a balance between my rights, my freedom, your freedom, and we have to find an equilibrium. That's something that's kind of been lost in today's society. It's like, if you think or believe or act differently than I do, then somehow you must be wrong. Because I'm not wrong. There's no way I could be wrong. Oh, I'd like to propose a radical idea that wasn't that radical that long ago. Freedom can exist for more than one person. The kind of freedom I'm talking about. You can have rights and I can have rights, and they don't have to be in conflict. I think the purpose of our society and relating with other people needs to be figuring out how to exist in a way that extends the greatest degree of freedom to the greatest number of people. And that freedom can be financial, so economic. It can be freedom of health, these kinds of things. I'm not advocating for some kind of panacea, and I'm not advocating for some kind of utopian socialistic kind of society. What I am advocating for is you, individually, figuring out a way that you can bring more freedom into your life and help others to achieve that same kind of peace, comfort, happiness, etc. that comes through that freedom. For me, freedom really comes down to what do you do with your free time? What would you do if you had free time? Would you choose to go to that 9-to-5 job, which is more like an 8-to-6 job plus a commute on either end? Would you choose to go worship whom you would worship? Would you choose to serve the hungry, the homeless, the needy, the refugees around you? If you're not taking the steps to get you to that point, that place where you are free to do what you want to do, then maybe you need to reevaluate your priorities. And as a parting thought, I'll share this. There's a trade-off, right? Absolute freedom cannot exist for everyone, because that's called anarchy. Right? If I extend to someone the freedom to burn my house to the ground and kill my family, that's no freedom for me. So there has to be balance. And as a society, our social construct, we have turned over some of our freedom in exchange for protection, in exchange for peace on a societal whole. And that's okay. But be careful not to give away too much of your freedom. And even more so, be careful not to take away too much freedom from others. Because if you're okay with forcing a group or a specific individual or nationality or religion or gender or whatever to follow a certain set of rules and laws, and you're okay with, well, I'm going to make an exception for them, you can't get upset when it flips around and it comes after you. Is there a point to this long, rambling thought process? No, not really. That's why this is filed under Mark Reviews Thoughts. Just some things that I've been thinking about. I think your life should be geared in such a way that it brings you more freedom and seeks to provide that same kind of freedom for others. For me, I seek financial freedom. Someday, I want to owe no one anything financially, because there's a sense of liberation in that. When you no longer have to do something, then you get to do something that you want to do. If I don't have to pay my mortgage, then I can travel more, or I can spend more time with my family. That's freedom. For me, that's financial freedom. But other people come to this country seeking freedom, and we need to remember the freedom that we've been blessed with already and put ourselves in their shoes and be prepared to help them achieve that kind of freedom as well. That's all. I don't want to get too political, but I think we can do a lot to build up the cause of freedom and extend it to others around the world. And we need to start with freedom of expression. It's okay if someone believes differently than you. That'll do it. If you liked this video, give me a thumbs up, leave some comments in the section below, and subscribe to this channel.